Greetings, I'm Hail from English for Africa channel. This is English for University Students episode 10. Today I'm going to give you awesome tips about how to write a good academic sentence. This video is very important to you because it helps you to become an effective writer, because sentences are the building blocks of any academic writing. And this lesson has got 3 sections. Firstly, we're going to talk about sentence structure, especially focusing on the 2 basic parts or elements of sentence structure, and then the logical order of sentence elements or structures parts will be discussed. Secondly, I'm going to give you tips for understanding and using a subject and a predicate effectively. Lastly, grammar rules about subject and predicate types with brief examples will be given to you. So let's start. We better start with defining what a sentence is firstly. A sentence is a group of words that are used to communicate one idea, a single idea or a complete thought. A sentence must contain a subject and a verb, and it must make a sense or a meaning. It must start with a capital letter and end with a full stop. If these are met, we say that sentence is a sentence. Therefore, to say a sentence to be complete, it has to have these 2 qualities. Firstly, does it have a subject and a verb? Does it make a sense by itself? Does it communicate any meaning? If this is there, we call that group of words a sentence. Let me give you some examples. First, he cried. I studied. Subject plus verb. These are sentences even if they are short. Come here, slow down. These are also sentences because they communicate clear meaning and a single thought. Here we have a hidden subject, you. Therefore, even if we don't see a subject, it is a sentence. They are sentences. Jamila is a waitress. She lives in Accra. We have subject plus verb plus object, and these are sentences. So all this group of words are sentences because they give a complete thought or they can make a sense. Now, let me give you one example. I looked at the sky moon. You see, this sentence does not make any sense and it doesn't have all the words it needs. What about this one? The man looked at the sky. The moon was shining. Here again, this sentence has the word is needed, but it doesn't make any sense, or the sense is not clear. Therefore, we have better edit it. This is how we can edit and make it a sentence. The man looked at the sky. The moon was shining. Here we have a sense, and that is a sentence. It creates a meaning. As you can see from the sentence, the capital letters and the full stops show you where the sentence begin and end. It is important to understand. Now let's come to the sentence structure. Here we are going to talk about elements or components of a sentence. First, the most basic components of a sentence are subjects and predicates. So every sentence must have at least a subject and a predicate. We are going to look at them one by one. So these 2 parts makes our sentence meaningful. That means it helps writers to show what's meant by a given sentence we have written. I ate dinner. We have a subject. Ate is a verb. Dinner is object. Together we call them predicate. Let's start with the first item. Subjects are a naming part. Sometimes we call it a naming part of a sentence. The subject is the focus of the sentence. It means it is the who or the what the sentence is about. It can be a noun or a pronoun with its modifiers. So if you're asked to find out subjects in a given sentence, ask yourself who or what the sentence is about. So the answer you get for such questions is the subject of that sentence means. Look, these 2 sentences. Jamila is a waitress. She lives in Addis Ababa. So Jamila is a noun subject, and she is a pronoun used as subject in the sentences. Now let's get to predicates. It's called a tailing part sometimes. This means the predicate describes the subject. It explains what the subject is or what the subject is doing. It can be a verb and object with any modifiers guessed. So if you are asked to find a predicate, just ask yourself what the sentence says about the subject. Jamila is a waitress. She lives in Addis Ababa. Let's look this example again. So is it the verb and the waitress is the object. Together they are the predicate of the sentence or the telling part of the sentence. Lives is a verb in the second sentence. Addis Ababa is the object. So lives in Addis Ababa is the predicate of the sentence. They tell something about the subject. Now let's go to the third section, that is the logical order of sentence parts. So in English language, word order is crucial for sentence to convey meaning clearly. So that means to be a sentence, the minimum requirement is a subject with a verb. So I studied, she cried. So most often the logical order of sentence is what we call CVO, subject, verb, object. I ate dinner. As you can see from the example, we have followed CVO format here. Now let me give you some tips about how you can understand and use a subject correctly in your writing. First, the subject of a sentence. In English, every sentence except commands or imperative sentences must have an explicit subject. Paul worked fast. Establish the parameter for the project. There is a mistake in here. The second sentence do not have a subject, so we will do have create a subject for it. So Paul is worked fast. He established the parameter for the project. However, have in mind this: there are three exceptions where you must be aware, because we don't have always subjects in sentences with these three exceptions. The first, imperative sentence without a subject. In imperative sentence, especially commands, the subject you is understood and is used only for emphasis. As you can see from these examples, do your homework, young man. Come here. Complete this by tomorrow. Shut the front door. These sentences are imperative sentences, and we don't put the subject in front of them because it's already understood, even if they are hidden. Second, passive sentences do not have a subject sometimes. The subject is the actor in sentences using the active voice CVO format. However, in contrast, in passive voice, the subject is acted upon the verb OVS. Solomon changed the flat tire. In the active format, we have Solomon the subject. The flat tire was changed by Solomon, so we don't have the subject in front of the sentence here. So these are exceptions. The third exception is expletive words. I think you are familiar with this word. Expletive words means these are words which replaces the position of a subject in a sentence when we move the subject from the sentence, the beginning of a sentence. So if you move the subject from its normal position, what is we call CVO, English also requires you to replace the subject with an expletive, and mostly we use there and it as expletive words. Look these examples. Before that, in the construction, the verb must agree with the subject that follows. There are 2 files on the desk. Here the subject is files, which is plural. Therefore, we have used plural verb are. There are. It is disrespectful for me to speak for Enoch. Here we have the subject to speak for Enoch. We have used the expletive it, and to speak for Enoch is singular. Therefore, we have used the singular verb is in this sentence. So in such situations, we don't put the subject at the beginning. So these are the exceptions. Now let's continue with grammatical rules. First, a subject must agree with its verb in number. These departments have much in common. Plural, we have plural subject and plural verb. This department has several functions. We have singular subject and a singular verb. There is an agreement. A compound subject has 2 or more substantives. It might be nouns or noun equivalents at the subject of one verb. So we have simple subject here. The doctor agreed on treatment plan. But the second sentence, the doctor and the nurse agreed on treatment plan, we have compound subject here. Have in mind this. Now let's continue. Tips for understanding a predicate. A predicate here have 3 types of predicate we can see. First, simple predicate. It is the verb and any helping verbs. As you can see from the example, Bear has piloted the corporate jet. The predicate here, the simple predicate is has piloted. As you can see, has is a helping verb, piloted is the main verb. So Bill has piloted is a sentence with simple predicate. When it comes to complete predicate, it is a verb and any modifiers, objects or complements. So the predicate in the above sentence is has piloted the corporate jet. So the corporate jet is the object in the sentence. So complete predicate is in this way it can be done. Second type, subtype, a compound predicate. This consists of two or more verbs joined by a conjunction with the same subject. The company tried but did not succeed in that field. As you can see, but is the coordinating conjunction that's used here to join the two verbs. Now let me give you some more examples to compare and contrast the three types of predicate in these sentences. The first sentence, she danced, he was cooking dinner, is a simple predicate. Second sentence, my family is arriving early tomorrow, I have been studying for hours. So the underlined group of words are called complete predicate. When it comes to the third, she likes dolls but hates friends. My sister fell and hurt her shoulder. So we have compound predicate here in the third example. I hope you have understood what I've tried to explain to you. Now let me give you two tips for writing long sentences. As I've said in episode 9 about phrases and clauses, academic writing mostly relies on longer sentences. How you can do that? Let me first give you a simple sentence. I was born in a small house on a large estate. Here additional thoughts may be added by using conjunctions or other linking words, and it can be done this way. I was born in a small house on a large estate, but my earliest memories are my grandmother's house, where I used to go every weekend. So we have a conjunction, a coordinating conjunction is but, and then we have other linking words, where to. So in this way we can develop longer sentences to show clearer and good ideas relationship in our sentences. This will take us to the end, but my final thought that I can give as a call for action is: no one is perfect in writing. Sentences which are written by anyone, even native speakers, could have faults or errors. Therefore, don't forget that you will improve your writing skill and be an effective writer in English through practicing. Practice, practice, practice. Second thing, I've said this: if you don't have time to read, that means practicing, you don't have the time to write. It is simple as that. So do what you have to do and have this in mind always. Thank you for watching with patience so far. If you have any questions, write down below in my comment section. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe to my channel. And my final assignment to you is you must watch episode 9 to improve your writing skill. So until I meet you next time, bye bye.